Greetings, travelers. We are living a time crisis. We are at the center of the current polycrisis. Yes, we all are avoiding the necessary work that we need to do in order to tackle the climate emergency. The same context and global agenda setting, the social media FOMO is also making us exhausted with all the information overload. We are seeing our decisions through the lenses of short-sighted and short-term capitalism. And at the center of it, it lies a total lack of meaning. This is a cycle that affects every aspect of our lives and our relationship with time, and the sense that you don't have time is not only an individual issue. It is an eco, social, political, global challenge that we all need to face. A cycle that demands us to try to be more productive and more commercially competitive, even after a pandemic, or even during a context trying to tackle the climate context or terrible wars. Meanwhile, the tools and systems that we created to help us think the future were used to perpetuate the status quo. Funded by corporations, futurism became techno-capitalism. How do we think about the future if we are so exhausted consuming the present? Traveling back, it started in the 15th century with the desynchronization of our social construct of time and the natural rhythms of the planet. After the agricultural era, with the machines, we learned to see ourselves as independent of nature. Time is such an important social marker that, as said by the American sociologist Mumford Lewis, it was the clock and not the steam engine, the defining machine of the modern industrial era. Time itself was colonized, became a single narrative, when clearly is not. It is possible to recover the sense of imagination and our power of dreaming. We all live in different seasons and cycles. Some of us are experiencing the Gregorian calendar with 12 irregular months that every day demands us some urgency, while every Monday is quite the same. While others are also flowing in the 13 moons with its 4 different moments that makes us connected with the cycle of the sun around the cosmos. These are different temporalities. We can think of them as different ways of inhabiting the world. What did we lose from our origins? What did we forget about our horizons? How can we remember? We forgot that we are all suns, stars, galaxies, trying to remember our shared journey. And on that, life always finds its continuity. I love these words because they invite us to understand that maybe your origins can still teach you something in the future. And maybe the clues about what lies in your horizon can come from the past. There's no single direction in our relationship with time. And this is the beauty of how can we experience time in nonlinear ways. I'm here to connect with you and to support on your journey on that. Because our relationship with time affects our relationship with the world. I am a temporality researcher. I am the founder of Temporality Lab. I sense, I study, I experience, I teach about how can we perceive time through different lenses, and how temporalities are ways we live in time, and there are multiple of them. Ways of being, ways of living, ways of existing. A pluriverse of them that at the Temporality Lab, myself and my team try to think of how can we perceive time as change, and we know that the transformation we all need and want demands a consciousness shift. A shift that invites us, while facing others, to remember our own humanity. A shift that can understand that time is also a language shaping our reality, and we can learn in these new ways. We can learn new temporalities, yes, and we can also, in fact, think about that we all are in need of some temporal literacy. In my region, at the Amazon rainforest, indigenous people learn Portuguese and mathematics during the mornings, and also they learn about their cosmovisions and their relationship with nature, with the animals, with the plants during the afternoon. This is a survival strategy, of course, but in response to that, they don't shift from Western to non-Western. They become something else. They become a bridge to somewhere else that leads to the crossroads, to this third path that we can find. The psychologist Felipe Zimbardo says that we all have these distinct temporalities. We all have different time orientations. Right now, we are here, and we can be driven at this moment by our relationship with the past, either by guilt or gratitude. We can also be down by the present with fatalism, or assume that we don't have control at all and try to find pleasure with hedonism. Or we can walk towards the future, waiting for transcendence, getting ready to the future, building blocks with some concreteness in the present. We know that we all experience different moments of all of this, and we can agree that the perspective towards the future with a more oriented, action-oriented approach is quite important, but is in fact the gratitude towards past that allow us to get rid of old cycles, of old patterns, and break that spin wheel, the hamster wheel, that usually we take when we are leading our decisions. And then we can experience different paths towards the future. I will keep bringing this image to you, supporting us to sustain this memory. Science today sees the universe as a hologram, a matrix of time, this field called torus, because it takes the form of this absurdly enormous, self-sufficient spiral. And I have an artifact representing the torus to share with you. We can see time as linear. Usually we think that this point A is connected to the point B only in one way, that is the perceived way. But in fact, it just needs a change of perspective and start to be quite clear that we have multiple cycles connecting the same line. Until that we understand that they are not disconnected, but in fact, if I pay attention, they are all one. The torus is our compass to question this linear thinking and understanding that we can use temporal intelligence to perceive different ways, in new ways, to navigate this relationship with time, individually and also collectively. This is the consciousness shift that temporal empowerment can bring to us. We live in this moment in which technological acceleration is leading to the acceleration of social change. And consequently, this is speeding up our lifestyle. But I'm here to remind you that fast is different than well done. That acceleration is different from progress. While we are busy with the future, who is living with the present? The Nigerian post-activist Bayo Akomolafe invites us to think that the times are urgent, but the way that we are trying to solve the problem is part of the problem. So paradoxically, we must slow down. The indigenous philosopher and leader of the Krenak people, Ailton Krenak in Brazil, representing the ones who suffered the apocalypse already 500 years ago because of colonization, remind us that we need to decenter ourselves from the current relationship with time in order to be able to find meaning in the present. This is the only way to postpone the end of the world. It sounds impossible to face a change, but there are many histories in history. Power already changed hands before, and the confidence shifts. This shift happens together with the winds that blows, telling us that impermanence is the law of time. Nothing is more important than the ideas whose time has come. Empires fall and different ideas of forces begin to take the stage when we believe that it's time for a change. One that can build a safe space for humanity, no less and no more. And not by coincidence, the donut economics is also shaped by a torus. The different cultures perceive and experience time through these cyclical, ecological understandings. And this helps us to connect with what, in the German term, we call a zeitgeist, the ideas and beliefs of a particular time or period of history. But the ones that understand that the zeitgeist is this avant-garde are mistaken. Here we have these different ideas that are already outstep of individuals that are not related to the current events of our time, that are also talking with ideas that are so dominant that we not even question. And these are something that we need to be to look with some attention. And we also have ideas that are only signals, like lighthouses around that points directions, like a compass. The spirit of the time is this interaction in between these different ideas. And if we understand that dominant behavior was once emergent, we can also think that what is dominant today can also become residue in the bottom of the river tomorrow. Different cultures experience time in different ways because they also synchronize with different Zeitgebers. There are the elements that can inform, synchronize, and shape the movement around the cosmos, like the moon, the sun, or the galaxies itself. To give a few more examples, Zaza and Zamani are concepts of time in the culture of many African states. Zaza refers to the present time, where we think about all of the ideas that are fresh in the minds of the living, that are the experiences that we can still remember as a community, while the Zamani are referring to this distant time, all the ideas that are considered mythological or ancestral time. These ideas that are not part of the living memory anymore, but they are in the collective memory. They are passed with the traditions through generations. Like Sankofa, that is an expression in the Twi language of Ghana, whose literal meaning is go back and get it, represented by the symbol of a bird turning its head to collect a stone. Actually, is a verb made of two words that are saying san kofa, that means go back, get it. We don't want to time travel and live in the past, but we all want to remember. We want to restore, to recover, to repair what is already ours. As you can see, this is not a battle in between ancestral or contemporary. We need both. Technologies are shaping and being shaped by society. They are neither the problem or the solution. And how we see this context is that we need both to build not a perfect place, but a better relationship with time. One that can allow us to lead to the most beautiful world our hearts know is possible. One where panoramas are the cosmo-perceptions, the ways that we be in contact with the world, that we can have this depth of the founding myths, of the connection with the mystery, with the profound, the backstories, and the perenniality is the way that we observe the long view, how we perceive the different pasts that lead to the present and also to the future. My invitation here today is to seek in the ancestral for these narratives that want to emerge again with other possibilities. Like the Himba people, when the mothers hear a cosmic song telling the story of each baby to come. The colonialism made us a single narrative when we are looking to time, and we can make it a multitude again, bridging these Western and non-Western roots in the colonial and pluralistic ways to make effective alliances in between cultures and times. This is how we become ancestors of the future. This is how we can be truly contemporary, looking through the light and observing what is on the other side of the darkness. This overview, to conclude, helps us to see that the past shows us a world of individuality where the myths of speed prioritizes convenience and consumerism by the clock, powering institutions and causing separation. But the light yet to come unveils what the world is becoming, the Great Mother, teaching us to synchronize with a story, that power is shared among people, with the community, and the collective is building a story based on connection. No one else is coming to save us. The only ones that can recover our relationship with time are ourselves. We, the artists, scientists, researchers, entrepreneurs, policymakers, spiritualists that are here. We can remember that we are the language time speaks, and that we are the time travelers we've been waiting for. How about you? How is your relationship with time? I'm looking forward to be able to support you in this journey. Thank you.